So welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be making a no-bake pumpkin swirl cheesecake. And it's very simple. You just use one of the Jell-O cheesecake mixes, some pumpkin, whipped topping, cream cheese, and some pumpkin pie spice mix. And we're just gonna put it in a springform pan. Okay, so in here I'm gonna put 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese, and they're softened. I'm just gonna go ahead and mix them up. Okay, so once this is good and smooth, I'm going to go ahead and scrape the bowl down. And of course I'm going to make a mess because I always do. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the Jell-O filling. And it calls for 1.5 cups of milk, but I'm just going to put 1 cup. We want it to be a really thick mixture. Now, I don't know where my measuring cup is, so I'll just use my fork. Okay, we're gonna let this mix together and get really fluffy. Okay, so now that mixture is mixed together really well, I'll show you what it looks like. Just a really thick consistency. Okay, so I'm gonna fold in some whipped topping, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do to the crust. So we have just a little crust mix, and instead of using white sugar, I'm gonna use brown sugar because I just think it'll go better with the pumpkin. And I'm also gonna add just a dash of the pumpkin pie into the crust. So I'm gonna add the melted butter, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get it mixed up. So I'm gonna melt my butter, and this is good butter, guys. This is fresh cow butter, fresh churned in an actual churn. Okay, so we're gonna add our melted butter. Okay, so now we've got our crust pressed down. So we're gonna fold in the whipped topping. So we're gonna divide this batter. Once we get the whipped topping folded in, we're gonna divide it into 2, and we're gonna add our pumpkin in. Okay, now look how pretty this is. Now, we're gonna go ahead and take some of it out for the pumpkin swirl. Gonna divide it, probably about that much. Okay, and we're gonna add some pumpkin pie spice and some pumpkin. So I've got the pumpkin puree. So So I'm not gonna put a bunch of this. This is really just gonna be for color. I'm gonna let the pumpkin spice do most of it because I don't want this to have a weird texture. So, go ahead and add. Okay. I'm just gonna fold it in. So I only added about probably 2 tablespoons of the actual pumpkin puree. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's good. Add just a little bit more. Get a clean spoon. Actually, let's get a spatula. Because where it's just going to be swirled in, I want it to have a lot of flavor. Which you're going to get some of the pumpkin pie spice out of the crust, but I also want this to have a good flavor. Okay, let's do a little bit more pumpkin. I want that orange color, and I don't like food coloring. So, let's hope this does not mess the texture up. Okay. I'm going to put some pumpkin whipped cream. I'm going to make some homemade whipped cream and put some pumpkin pie spice. So here we go. And put the base down. I guess you all can't see that. I'm sorry. Go ahead and put this down. And this will need to set in the refrigerator quite a long time. I'm gonna leave it in a couple hours. All right, now that we have the base and it's pretty thick, it's about right here, we'll go ahead and start adding in our pumpkin. We'll go ahead and just put some swirls of it in. I'm making a mess. Okay. Now we're going to get a knife and swirl it in. So I'm just going to get a little butter knife. And I'm going to swirl it in. Okay. All right, now I'm going to smooth the top out just a little. When you cut into it though, you should be able to see that it is swirled. I'm going to let this set up. Now this is almost as tall as this pan. This is a pretty, I don't know if you can tell, pretty tall pan. So I'm going to let it set up. Then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to pipe some pumpkin pie spice whipped cream, and we'll go ahead and make that We're gonna let this set up and then we'll cut into it. So I've got some heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna whip this, some sugar, and some pumpkin pie spice mix. And we'll make some spiced whipped topping. Okay, so I'm gonna make my spiced whipped cream, and to get the bowl really cold, if you don't have room in your freezer, I put some ice cubes in it, and I feel like that kind of whips up the whipped cream faster. You have a really cold bowl. Just be sure to dump your ice cubes out. Okay. I'm gonna add this, and I'm gonna go ahead and add some pumpkin pie spice. I'm gonna add just a tad bit of sugar. And for the color, because I do want a little bit of color, I'm just gonna add maybe a teaspoon of pumpkin. And we're gonna let this whip up. So here is what the whipped cream looks like with the pumpkin puree and the pumpkin pie spice mix and some brown sugar. So I ended up using about 3/4 a cup of the heavy whipping cream, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice, and just like a tablespoon of the pumpkin puree, which you can leave the pumpkin puree out if you want to. But I like the little flecks of orange. So let's see if I'm gonna see if our cheesecake is set up enough so I can pipe this on, and we'll cut a slice and see if it's any good. Alrighty. Okay. Here's our cheesecake. You can kind of see the orange, and then on the bottom is the regular cheesecake. We're going to fill a piping bag. Oops, don't fall over. I don't know if you can even see that really well. Let me see if I can. Just doing some swirls. I need my turntable. Do a let's add a little bit of pumpkin pie spice. Okay. Here you go. Here's a no-bake pumpkin pie cheesecake. Let's cut into it. Probably should let this set up a little longer, but okay, do you see those layers? Yum. And then here is the layers in there. Okay, let's try it. Good. This is so good. try it. So I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day, and I want to say hi to my new subscribers, and also hi to the ones that has been with me for a while. I want to thank